We're back with Chef Ryan. He's going to show us how to make risotto and scallops. A couple things again that are a bit intimidating. There's an art to risotto. There's timing to it. So I know that a lot of us are a little bit scared about all those elements. So you're going to tell us, you're going to walk us through it, tell us how it's done properly.
Absolutely. It's all about love and not overcooking for the scallops and the risotto. So we got all of our stuff set up, which is very nice. Going to get a nice pot like this, not too deep. You want it to be shallow enough for the liquid to evaporate and cook out. You don't want it too shallow, or else you're not going to be able to get it. The risotto is creamy. We have a little bit of pea stock. Instead of chicken stock, we use peas because we're doing a springtime risotto, and we shell all these peas, and we have all these shells. So why not use them? So we make it with some fennel, the fennel tops that we were usually going to throw away. We throw it in there. The pea shells, lemon zest, whatever herbs, tarragon. Make it nice and flavorful. And then you just cook it for about 45 minutes, and then let it steep for half an hour, and then strain it. And you get this nice greenish yellow stock. We have that nice and hot. We're going to turn this pan on.
How cool is this for vegetarians?
Right?
And
then we're going to mess it up by throwing scallops and Iberico ham on it.
Oh, I'm okay with it. But I'm a carnivore.
But yes, you're right. We also do this with mushrooms. We make mushroom stock with the stems that we're going to throw away, and that's also vegetarian. Sometimes I won't make it vegan. I'll put the Parmesan rinds that we would also throw away. We put those in there to steep, add depth. And
ooh, I love that. Yeah. Using everything is so important. Everybody talks about sustainability, but that's how you can make it at home.
And you make the boss happy, so he gets off my ass about food costs.
There you go. You're killing two birds with one stone. Can't get any better. But I'm so intrigued with the pea stock. I mean, I've never even heard of it. Vegetable, of course, but peas, wow. So
we're gonna add a little bit of blended oil. It's 75% canola, 25% extra virgin, so it raises the smoke point.
Okay.
Extra virgin you want to use more for finishing or vinaigrettes.
Okay, and you're toasting.
Just gonna sweat it down. We don't want color. We just want to soften it up.
Okay. You're doing a little onion and sweet onions better, the deli onions than regular or not?
Yeah, they're pretty versatile. You don't want to use red onions because that'll mess with the color. These tend to have the most flavor. White onions, so use those more for salsas. Yellow onions are pretty versatile. So we're gonna add the arborio rice.
Yep.
And we're gonna toast the rice. Use a wooden spoon. If you use a metal spoon, what will happen is you'll tend to break the rice once it becomes cooked. We're gonna add a little bit of garlic and Calabrian chili.
Okay.
We didn't add that in first because we didn't want that to burn before the onions.
And I know she didn't measure the rice.
With risotto, like if you're steaming rice, you need the right ratio. Risotto, as long as you have enough liquid, you're good. You just cook it till it's done. Add a little bit of white wine.
Why little?
And salt. Don't be afraid because the rice is going to expand and it's going to end up being a lot of rice.
We have fire.
Burn off a little bit of alcohol.
It burns out the alcohol, so if you're concerned about that, that's not an issue.
Yeah, pregnant women can have it. It's fine.
Yep. Do you use a certain brand of arborio rice, or is it really pretty?
No, you can make risotto with pretty much any type of rice or grain. I made it last week with farro. You can make it with barley. I've also made it with sunflower seeds. So I did it with sunflowers, sunchokes, sunflower sprouts, every part of the sunflower.
Sunflower seed risotto. Again, something I haven't had yet. I need to come here more often.
I've seen people do it with pine nuts. When I talk about food costs, I definitely can't do that.
Yeah, pine nuts tend to be pretty costly.
Yeah, it's going to be an $80 risotto. All right, so the wine's pretty much evaporated and absorbed into the rice.
Yeah.
We're going to start with our first couple ladles. Yeah, maybe 1.5. Once that goes, then we're just going to add a little bit at a time.
Okay, so you're trying to really immerse the ingredients and have them absorb that liquid.
Yeah.
And what is the typical time frame? How long does it take?
So it depends on the amount. So we're just doing one portion right now. So, I mean, like I said, cook it till it's done. So you're probably gonna be about 15 minutes. If you do like a big batch for a big party, that'll take about 30 to 40 minutes.
How do you feel about reheating risotto? Is that friendly for that?
That's fine, as long as you don't cook it all the way. Like I tend to cook it a little more than halfway, and then that cuts the cooking time actually less than half. Or like people would think that it's in half, but it's not. It's gonna go quicker because it cools down. It's still absorbing liquid.
It's good to know, because if you're having a dinner party, you don't want to.
Yeah, you can make it ahead of time. Just don't do it 100%, because once you try to reheat it, if it's close to done, it's gonna turn to mush.
You don't want that. We want slightly al dente. And I can smell it, you guys can't, but if there is smell-o-vision, it's already happening.
And I use a flat plate when I serve risotto. Some people do a bowl, but if you make the risotto, it puts me to the test. That if I make it wrong, it's either going to go flat or it's going to stand up, and you don't want to put it on here. It's going to go right where it needs to be.
So if you want to test your prowess, don't put it in the bowl.
It's taken a while to get to that point.
So is that one of the harder things?
Yeah. Honestly, one of the hardest things for cooks is eggs. So when I have cooks come in here to try out for a job, I'll have them cook me one of each kind of egg and time them. So they got to do a few at the same time. Some of the best line cooks that I've worked with have come from Denny's or IHOP that have worked the egg station.
This is absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, time management.
Wow. So what's the hardest type of eggs to make?
Depends. Over easy, it's hard because it's real lightly cooked, and then when you go to flip it, a lot of people, they'll flip it too hard and it'll bust, and or they won't have all their mise en place ready, and they'll turn away and then go back and it's all overcooked. A perfect omelet is very hard.
Do you offer classes on said perfection?
Yeah. I actually taught my dishwasher how to make one, and he did 5 in a row perfect. And I told him he's working Mother's Day brunch station, flipping omelets.
I need to look into this, because I thought I made the frittino a little bit. It sounds like there's a lot more to the story.
We'll do that next time.
Excellent, love it.
Or I'll have my dishwasher do it, because I feel like Tiger Woods' father.
Oh my God. This clearly
found an omelet prodigy.
There's a lot to unpack here, so we're going to need to have another conversation, tape conversation, so you guys can be in on it. I don't want to just keep all the goodness to myself. We have things are happening now. So this is full-on heat. You're not timid. You need
once it starts getting close to being cooked, we're going to lower it down, because that's when it'll start to stick and burn. Especially after we add the cheese, we're going to lower it down. But we're going to cook this about 70% of the way.
Okay.
Turn the heat off, and then we're going to go with the scallops. And then, like I said, time management, we're going to try and time it right. Everything to be done at the same time.
No, that makes perfect sense. So right equipment, you got to have the right pan, got to have a wooden spoon, got to have the mise en place.
Everything ready. You don't want to walk away and then come back and your rice is burnt.
Yep. So, but really, again, pretty simple. A lot of this timing, attention, not...
Yeah, you don't have to be a rocket surgeon. You just got to be organized.
Cooking is such a pleasurable sport, honestly, but a lot of people are intimidated because they think that they're going to get it wrong. And that's okay, right? You get it wrong the first time, you're going to do better next time.
And cooking, you can usually fix it if you know how to. That's why I'm not a baker, because if you bake things, you're screwed.
Yes.
But it comes down to repetition and consistency, and
you heard it.
You'll be all right.
You didn't make your first risotto perfectly, right?
No, I did not.
Good. If you had said yes, that would have totally killed what I said. So no, I mean, we all learn. Even people that are so incredibly good at it. You start somewhere and just have fun with it.
Yeah, my first job when I graduated from the pantry doing salads to the hotline, this was my first task, and yes, I ruined a big batch of risotto.
And is it?
But that was the first time and only time.
Is it hard to make a large quantity of food? Is it exponentially harder, or is it kind of the same?
It just takes more time.
Okay.
But when you make like a single batch, you usually can do it a lot better than a big batch, more love. So that's the big batches. That's why we cooked it halfway, cooled it down, and then we heat them up as we go, so we can pay that attention to detail to that one dish.
Yeah. No, I love this comment. More love. There's never enough love. You could always use more love.
Yes. So now it's starting to kind of absorb.
Yeah, it's starting to absorb the
We're
liquid.
just about ready for another addition.
So if somebody doesn't have access to Calabrian chilies, I know that's what you spiced it up with. Are the chilies okay?
Yeah, you could use crushed chili flakes.
Chili flakes, there you go.
Yeah, you can use whatever. Calabrian, it's Italian. We're keeping it Italian.
And they have very particular flavor, and actually they're pretty accessible in most stores to carry them.
Yeah, sometimes they'll be dried,
Yep.
and then you just kind of steep them in oil, and that's how we buy them, in the oil. And then that oil you can use for whatever, spicing up a little vinaigrette or something.
There you go.
Or crudo, like we did earlier.
Dual purpose. I'm still thinking about that crudo that you just watched a little while ago. Those scallops were so sweet. The texture was extraordinary, and there was a crunch, and there was this, visual party going on. That was love.
Yep. There's also part of keeping it simple and honoring the ingredients that you're using. If you have good ingredients, you don't got to do all these foams or sous vide or whatever. Just keep it simple and do it right.
Utterly agreed. We're very blessed in California, but I know that a lot of other parts of the country have adopted the culture of growing in greenhouses. And even Michigan, I heard, is kicking our butt in terms of quantity of what they actually grow. It's fascinating. So seek and you shall find, but use good quality stuff.
Yeah, but it's crazy how far food has come with social media and everything, because back in Florida when I first started out, certain times of year you can't get some herbs.
Yeah.
And now the availability and the variety has just skyrocketed from when I first started.
That's got to be so fun for you as a chef. It's like so many more things to play with. Where did you start cooking?
I started in Florida at a country club.
Okay.
And actually, my first job was at a Cuban restaurant when I was 14.
Nice.
Making Cuban sandwiches on weekends, which was illegal, so I'm not going to name the restaurant.
But we love Cuban sandwiches.
But my stepdad, he's the one who got me doing it. He was a chef.
Yeah.
He's been a chef all of his life.
So you started cooking at 14, and clearly it's something you wanted to pursue.
Yeah, well, I wanted money first as a little kid. I wanted to buy baseball gloves and stuff like that, because that was my first love.
Yeah.
But when that didn't work out, I needed something to pay the bills. So cooking and working in a restaurant, playing sports gives you that same kind of adrenaline rush sometimes. Yeah. Not right now. This is very therapeutic.
So what did you do after your stint with Cuban sandwiches, culinary-wise?
That's when I went to Country Club when I was 17, and I worked there on and off for about 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Got my first chef's job at 21 at an Italian bistro. Went to a culinary school out there. Kind of mundane, so I kind of left it because I already had a good grasp of everything.
Yeah.
And then my uncle out here in California, he told me I needed to go to the CIA, so I came out here.
Nice. So you're a CIA graduate.
Yes, I am.
We love CIA. I think, obviously I haven't gone to school there, but I've taken classes there. I think it's CIA New York, campus, Hudson, and here have to be the best culinary schools in the country. Is that not true?
I'm more partial to the Greystone campus out here, but
no, I mean, trust me.
That one's a beautiful campus, huge.
I'm, very, very lucky to, go to events there. I mean, I participate peripherally.
Yes.
But I've eaten lots of times at the CIA. And it's, if anyone out here even wants to take amateur classes, they offer those, by the way. But if you want to start easy, I know here at the Kitchen Collective, there really all kinds of stuff are going on. You should look at the website, because even though it's a club, people that are not members can come, correct?
Yeah.
And they can learn from you.
Yeah.
They have interactive classes. They have different thematic dining events. It's actually quite dynamic, and it's like best kept secret. You get an intimate experience. This is a commercial kitchen that I'm standing next to that's very well put together. I'm sure it's a great kitchen to cook at.
Oh yes, and I have great people that I work with too. and makes the job a lot easier.
And now you've met Antonia and Ryan. You can say hello. Kitchen goddess, remember that? And are you a god as well? So we're not leaving you behind.
No.
She's now known as goddess. So
yeah, the Greek goddess.
The Greek goddess, yes. And you are a Florida god. Is there such a thing?
I'm just Ryan.
And you're just Ryan. Okay, so no need to refer to him as deity. But we'll find out soon.
If you're getting biblical with it, I guess I'd be like Joseph.
Who's a cooking god? Is there such a thing? Is there a god of cuisine?
I don't think so.
You could be the first then.
Yeah. All right. So this is getting, we'll probably do one more ladle, and then we're going to turn it off, and then we're going to focus on the scallops.
Okay.
We're going to cook the scallops on one side really nice and hard, flip it over, turn the heat off, add some butter, and this beautiful Cadillac of charcuterie Iberico ham. Let that crisp up, and then just kind of soak and infuse the scallops, and then we're going to go back, finish the risotto, and then plate it up.
So Cadillac of charcuterie.
Yeah, I guess that's a bad term to use because Cadillac kind of got surpassed by the Germans and Japanese, but
no, but it gives you an idea.
This is
how special that
is.
Is
like prosciutto. It is prosciutto, but it's from the black Iberican pigs in Spain that are pretty much exclusively fed acorns, and so it's a real nice and fatty piece, nutty. You can taste the acorns almost.
Oh.
And we're going to do some crisp in the pan, and then we're also going to garnish it with some raw pieces, so you get a little variation. Because you don't want too much cooked because it's going to be super salty. The raw fatty pieces are going to be nice, kind of to mellow it out.
So to validate your Cadillac sentiment, you'd appreciate the story. I asked Jose Andres once if he were to die, how he would want to come back, in what form. And he said, I want to be a ham.
He wants to be a black Iberican pig.
I want to be a ham.
Typical Spanish chef.
That's right, but he's very, it didn't even take a millisecond for him to respond. He knew exactly what he was after.
I've seen him cook fresh Iberico on grills, and it's like there's so much fat that it was just flaming up, and he probably had a few drinks. He was with Anthony Bourdain, I believe. Oh, wow. And he's just, it's going to be fine. You know, the flames just crisping up the pork.
Oh, good times. Yeah, no, he's a very impassioned, very dynamic individual.
Oh, yeah.
So I found a whole new appreciation for Iberico ham after that comment, and now I'm seeing it once again. We meet again, so I'm very excited about that.
Sometimes I'll go back to my, southern roots, and instead of using prosciutto or whatever, I'll have some beautiful Benton's ham, country ham from Tennessee, and we'll use that in there. And sometimes we'll make it like a red-eye gravy for the scallops, a little bit of coffee, ham, hot sauce, and just spoon that over top.
That sounds ridiculously good. So if somebody wants to have this dish here, is that possible? If somebody wants to
just
come,
gotta holler at me.
See, you have options now. You can thank me later.
All right, we have this cast iron pan that's been heating up. It's nice and hot. We're gonna actually let it cool down a little bit. Got these same scallops, these Hokkaido scallops.
Hokkaido, got it.
You got to make sure they're nice and dry, otherwise you're not going to get a good sear on them.
Lots of paper towels.
Yep. You're going to season it kind of from a height.
Yep. So why is that?
Just salt. So you just want to evenly distribute it. And you want just salt because we want that nice sear. And so if you put pepper on there, one, it'll overpower the flavor of the scallops, and two, it'll burn. And you just have these little black specks.
And liberal seasoning. And watch you dip in thrice.
But a lot of it's still on the plate, so it's actually kind of lightly seasoned, and we want to do that especially because we're adding the ham,
of course,
which is salty. We're going to add that same blended oil, very nice and hot, and we're going to start at 12 o'clock and then move around so we know where we started at.
Important tip. I know I just throw stuff in the pan. 12 o'clock. What's your clock? So you're aggressively cooking one side.
Yes. We want that nice brown Maillard reaction going on. CIA key term. Maillard.
Maillard.
Not caramelized because there's no sugar, even though they are very sweet.
If they're not sweet, would you add a pinch of brown sugar or no?
Nah. Scallops are usually generally sweet. If they're not sweet, I don't really use them.
Okay.
They're low quality.
Do you add sugar to vegetables?
Vegetables? Yeah, so we have this mint pea puree that we're going to use to finish the risotto and garnish the plate with. When we blanch the peas, because you want kind of a sweet pea,
Yeah.
you'll help it out with a little bit more sugar. Sometimes they don't need it. It's early in the season, so...
White or brown?
What's that?
White or brown?
Oh, white. Because you don't want to change the color.
Got it.
So we're just about getting there.
They're starting to look happy.
This guy's good.
So Ryan is really, this is how you can tell real chef. His hands are all in it. Hot oil and everything. He's just flipping them with his paws just like that. I love it.
Yeah. I don't have much feeling in there anymore. So we
Well,
turn
I see
the
here on
heat
your
off.
Still, and that,
Yeah,
I'm
people
not
think
questioning.
Antonia abuses me, but this was just hot grease. So now we're just gonna throw little pieces in there. Now this is mostly to flavor it, but we're also gonna garnish it too with the crispy pieces.
So you added butter,
Yeah.
and that's to give it more body, more flavor.
Yeah, more flavor. Like I said, I'm from the South. And that's good. We're gonna give it a little bit more time in there. I can feel the fat of the pork popping. These
You
guys are just
touched it.
about done.
That's how you know.
Yep. You don't want it too stiff. You want them rare to medium rare. Otherwise, you go any further than that, you're gonna have a little rubber bullet.
Yeah, overcooking scallops is a bad thing. You can't fix it.
And we're gonna pour some of that butter on there. That's good to go. So these will carry over a little bit, but they're rare still.
Okay.
Just leave those there to chill.
Okay.
Bring back the risotto. Give it a little taste, see where we're at. It's carried over to almost being there.
Thank
About
you.
80 to 90% there.
So how important is it to taste your food as you cook?
You need to know where it's at. You can tell by sight, smell, sound, and taste and texture.
Yeah.
But I can also visually see the rice getting creamy and right at about the translucency that it needs to be at.
I find it very helpful, just like you, to have a few clean spoons by your stove,
Yeah.
so you can kind of taste periodically, bond with your food.
They're not labeled, but usually they are. But luckily I know that's dirty, that's clean. So
Yeah. No, tasting is crucial. That heat from the Calabrian chili is definitely
right in the background.
Yes, it's exactly right. You could definitely taste it, but it's not overwhelming.
And it's gonna get even more toned down when we add butter and the puree and the cheese to it, and some lemon. It's gonna
Lemon, I like
bring it
that.
all around. So acidity, cutting through the fattiness, and bringing out all the flavors.
No,
Brings out the flavors just as much as salt, pretty much does.
Got it. Now I can see that balance is really something you strive for in every dish.
Everything. I like spice, but some things, like jerk chicken or something like that, you can still taste the flavors, but sometimes people will just try to make super hot things, and it's just, you can't taste anything. I can't taste anything for a day,
Yeah, that's
and that's my job.
no. Some people have super palates, and they just have this ability to take on a lot of heat, but most of us don't. So, like you said, why?
Well, I want to call those super palates. I call those numb palates.
I'm trying to be nice. There's somebody watching that's like devouring a big pile of super hot chicken wings.
Hey, you do you. That's fine. I had somebody come in last night for that crudo, and she asked for hot sauce with it. And I made sure to give the server the hot sauce after I felt like she was probably already done with it. I was like, why are you going to ruin that beautiful crudo?
Aw. No, I have to agree with you here. It's just, if you're going to order something so delicate and refined, I think the hot sauce is probably going to kill it.
So this is right at the level where we want to stop adding liquid.
Thank you.
And start adding everything else to it. You'll lower it down.
It's the flavors and quite assertive.
So it's too spicy right now.
It's not. Sorry about that. Cold.
You all right there?
I'm good.
Now I'm adding the butter and cheese. Don't worry. All right, so we just add the cheese, butter, some of the puree. We're gonna add the zest and juice of lemon to there. If this wine was a little colder, I'd offer it to you.
No, it's totally fine. It's not the food, it's the fact that the girl has a cold and clearly lost her voice. I don't normally sound like a strange version of Kathleen Turner, but you'll forgive me for it. You have to.
Oh, it's all good. My voice was there yesterday.
Yes,
Partying a little too hard.
No such thing. Just right.
So now we got this nice green risotto.
Beautiful.
So you want to make sure you add the lemon like right at the end. Otherwise, if you let it sit, like if you made this ahead of time and turned it green already with the lemon,
Yeah.
it would, by the time you go to serve it, it's going to be brown because the lemon's going to change the color.
It looks so pretty.
Can I get some more spoons? Thank you.
I'm admiring the scallops over here. They look perfect.
There you go.
Thank you. Oh, look at that color. Oh my goodness. That is ridiculously delicious. Wow, wow, wow. I think Gordon Ramsay would be proud. I watch a lot of cooking shows, so he's a stickler for a perfect risotto.
Yes, he is.
As you can see, folks, that's the process. You can't rush it. It has to be right. So take the time. Love your risotto, love you back.
This is where you want to stir it to kind of cool it down a little bit, so it gets to that right consistency that you want. We're off the heat. All right, we have a little spring veg medley here that's sitting in brown butter and pea stock. You got some chanterelles, favas, and some of the peas that are not pureed.
Nice.
So, I'm gonna go a little bit off center here.
Here's the all-important test. How far does it spread?
So
You guys watching? I'm watching.
stop
very closely.
right there, hopefully.
You did. It stopped moving.
A little bit of that.
Oh my goodness. That's looking like spring in a plate.
Dress a little bit of pea shoots.
So you have a pea theme consistent throughout this dish.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have pea broth. We have peas in the risotto. We have peas on the scallops. We have fresh peas. It just, wow. We can have some uncooked Iberico for contrast and texture
And flavor.
and flavor. Don't forget that.
You know, a little tarragon.
Okay.
I like that flavor that's with a springtime theme.
It is a very good flavor, especially with the scallop and the peas.
Nice and
It
bright.
ties it all together. How long did it take you to perfect this dish, to have all the flavors merge? Just
This is the first
way-
time I've done it.
Yes, sir. So that was
But
done in
risotto?
just- Okay.
It took me a career. And I think just a little bit of oil and we're good.
Look at that
Have a
beautiful
little
dish.
risotto, scallops, and prosciutto, Iberico prosciutto.
Gorgeous. The only thing to add to it now is a fork
A fork.
or several. Thank you, Ryan. This
No
has
problem.
been such a great experience, and hearing you give useful tips along the way and then produce something that's so stunning is really has been a tremendous pleasure.
It's great having you guys.